the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville, and the City Council sits at the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, Victorville Redevelopment Agency, and the Victorville Water District. First on the agenda is public comment. Anyone wishing to address the council? The public comment session. Hearing none. We do have a closed session.
Correct, Mayor Cabrialis. We have closed session. We have several items. We have three potential litigation items pursuant to Government Code 54956.9b. In fact, I take that back. We now have two, so we need to eliminate one of the ones from the agenda. Item 3, we have a conference pursuant to existing litigation on the Government Code 54956.9a. The parties are the City of Victorville and Sean Storm et al. And it's case number CIVVS 804130. We also have existing litigation, again pursuant to Government Code 54956.9a, Carter Burgess versus City of Victorville, case number RIC 503565. Another existing litigation case is City of Victorville versus Luz Viminda Engel, case number CIVVS 804127. And lastly, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 CMB Export LLC et al. Versus City of Victorville et al. Case number CIVVS 901467. To the extent there is any reportable action on any of these items, we will come out and report that action.
Okay. To reconvene the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville, and the City Council sitting as the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, the Victorville Redevelopment Agency, and the Victorville Water District. And we do have any reportable action?
Mayor Cabrialis, we had a closed session item on two pending or two threatened potential litigation and several existing ones, and there's no final solution, so accordingly no reportable action at this time.
Thank you. We'll now have the invocation, and that will be given by Dr. Des Federer-Reason, pastor of the GTC Victorville First Church of the Nazarene. That will be followed with a pledge of allegiance by our Victorville Police Chief, Chief Reynolds. And I would also like Chief Reynolds to introduce a new staff member to the police department.
Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for the privilege of calling upon your name this evening. We would ask that your wisdom would fill this house, that your grace would fill the hearts also. Also this evening we ask, oh God, that you would watch over the armed forces, the soldiers, the men and the women that are serving across this world. We ask that you protect them with divine coverage. And this evening we are so thankful. Speak to our hearts in a way that it would bring peace and harmony to our neighbors and to our friends and families. In your name we pray. Amen.
Flag of the United States, republic for which it stands, God, indivisible.
Honorable Mayor and council members and our citizens that are here this evening. I'd like to introduce to you our new Assistant Police Chief with the transfer of Lieutenant Rod Torres to Public Affairs Division in San Bernardino. Lieutenant Greg Herbert has been reassigned here. He's a good man. I'm confident he's going to do a great job for us here in the city of Victorville.
Thank you very much, and welcome, Lieutenant.
Thank you, Council. It's going to be a pleasure to serve here in the city of Victorville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the public comment, and that'll be for all the city council as well as the board and the authorities that the council represents. I do have 3 cards. You have a 3-minute period. First one is Dorothy Miller.
Well, councilmen and women, I must say that. Well, we had a wire company. We gave them a big incentive to come to the city of Victorville. They came here. We gave them 5 years of this big incentive. You know what happened? Just before the 5 years was up, they're out of here. Then we have Dr. Pepper. We're going to have all kinds of jobs here for people in the city of Victorville and Apple Valley and Hesperia, the high desert. No, that's not happening either. We're going to bring people up from down the hill. Now, what in the world is going on? We just keep going on and on and on, and the people here in the city is really getting taken. Something needs to be done. Our beautiful power plant, it's sold. Oh, no, it's not. It's not sold. Where are we going to get the money to keep surviving in this city? I think we need to go ahead and file bankruptcy. Get rid of it. Get rid of the problems. Get rid of the air base. Get rid of the people that's causing all these problems that we've had. And there's a couple of them that I know of that has just pushed and pushed and pushed, and we just kept getting taken. And I'm sorry. I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Felix Diaz.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council. Thank you for this opportunity. I just have a couple of items that I'd like to speak to you about. First of all, do I have to give my address and all that?
We have your card.
Okay. We have been having the annual Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony down in Old Town on 7th Street. Usually here lately, the last 5-6 years, we've had it on either the Saturday after Veterans Day or the Saturday before Veterans Day. And I'm asking the council if there's a possibility that we can start having the parade again on the day, the 11th of November, and have it at that time and on that day, every year from now on, for several reasons. One, usually on the Saturday before or the Saturday after, they have so many things going on. They have, especially for bands, bands are usually out competing in Las Vegas or competing in San Diego or in other cities in Southern California, and we don't have any bands. This year is a very good example. We only had 2 bands, and normally before we used to have a band from all the high schools, including Barstow. And because of the situation where they all go to compete to tournaments, we don't have any bands. And the other thing is that all the kids are out of school. And on the Saturday before, some of them go on vacation, they go different places. But if we have it on the 11th, it's only one day. And I think it could be worked out. And with your permission, hope that we can have it starting this year in 210. And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is it's been going, I believe, on 5 years that I first made the attempt to, in fact, the city hall hadn't even been remodeled or redone when I spoke with 3 of you council members about the possibility of renaming this complex after one of our real, well, actually, one of the founders of modern-day Victorville, and that's Mr. Clyde Tatum. And I asked if there was a possibility we could rename this whole thing here after him. And I've actually, in the last 4.5 years, I've jumped through hoops. I've done everything that I know that I was given advice from council members and city workers of what I needed to do. I've done it all. I've written letters. I've gone before the committees, I think 3 times, and they agreed and brought it before the council. And on the date that you were going to vote on it, something happened. I don't recall what it was. I think a couple of you were gone, and then you decided to postpone it. Well, it's been postponed for a year now. And I'd like to ask if you would please either bring it up again, put it on your agendas, or forget about it. Maybe, I don't know, you may have other thoughts. But I think it's very proper that we name this complex after Mr. Clyde R. Tatum. And I hope that you take that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Felix. Next, we have Vicky Cabriales.
Good evening. I just wanted to publicly thank the City of Victorville and the Council for your generous in-kind support of the High Desert Hispanic Chamber. You guys have done so much behind the scenes, and I don't think we've been actively thanking you or showing our gratitude. So I want to say thank you so much for all you do. I know right now we can't ask for finances, and we understand that. But sometimes time and in-kind services are worth more than the money that you can contribute. So thank you for all you do, and thank you for your support of the award-winning High Desert Hispanic Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Okay. Our first agenda is the Library Board of Trustees. We don't have any revisions. We do have the consent calendar.
Move for approval?
Second.
And on all our agendas, we do have, we'll adjourn this meeting to February the 9th, 2010 at 5. Southern California Logistics Rail Authority and the Airport Authority, our chairman of those authorities is Councilman Caldwell, and he'll take those two.
Thank you, Mayor Cabriales. The only item on each agenda is the consent calendar, and I would request a motion for both items concurrently.
Move.
Second.
That completes the business for both the Airport Authority and the Rail Authority.
Thank you. Next is the RDA, the Redevelopment Agency. We have no revisions. We do have the consent calendar.
Move approval.
And we also have a request to adjourn the meeting to February the 9th, 2010. Victorville Water District. We have no revisions. Consent calendar.
I'll move.
Second.
Mayor Cabriales, I'll be abstaining on agenda item number 4.
Item number 4 is a request to approve invoice from High Desert Underground, Inc. for additional drops and extension of water main line at SCLA in the amount of $117,065.63.
For approval. Second.
Item number 5, request to approve change orders to the Aaron's Corporation contract for the SCLA Industrial Wastewater Treatment Plant to decrease the contract amount by $285,608 and lengthen the contract duration by 11 days.
Approval?
Second.
Item number 6, request to award a contract to Statco Engineering and Fabricators Incorporation in the amount of $398,655 for the installation of the permate piping system for the SCLA Industrial Wastewater Treatment Plant.
Move for approval.
Second.
Item number 7, request to approve change orders to the Forcon Engineering contract for the SCLA Industrial Wastewater Treatment Plant in the amount of $187,612.21 and lengthen the contract duration by 13 days.
Second.
Number 8 is a request to amend the service provider agreement with Woodard and Current to add sludge drying bed design to their design services scope and increase the not to exceed amount by $96,530.
Move for approval. Second.
Also requested during this meeting to February the 9th, 2010. Next, we have the City Council agenda. No revisions to the agenda. We do have the consent calendar.
For approval?
Second. Councilmember Caldwell, may I get a vote from you?
Item number 4, I'll turn over to Mayor Pro Tem Brashayo.
Council members, I have an appointment to the Planning Commission. As you know, Manny Hinoas moved out of the community, and after due diligence and a little bit of help from Garner Morse and looking around, I remember his daughter served on our Planning Commission for a while too as well. We discovered an excellent candidate for the Planning Commission. Donnie Mose Sr. is a recently retired highway patrolman, and he has a bachelor's degree as well. He's going to be an excellent addition to our council, and I would move that we appoint Donnie Jones Sr. to the Victorville Planning Commission.
Second.
And his wife sitting next to him, Jacqueline, as well. Thank you. You're not appointed to it, but I wanted to introduce you. Christmas parties and everything else. Actually, you could come and leave him alone. Prettier face.
Welcome to the city family.
Thank you very much,
for your
sir.
service.
I appreciate you.
Item number 5 is the request to adopt resolution number 10-011.
Approval.
Second.
Item 6, request to approve an additional appropriation of $165,000 funded by Storm Drain Utility for storm cleanup and mitigation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Item number 7 is a request to approve the standby wastewater treatment agreement between the City of Victorville and the Victor Valley Wastewater Reclamation for Dr. Pepper Snapple groups to start up flows and additional appropriation of $200,000.
Move approval.
Second.
Item number 8, request to direct staff to sign the MOU with Sandbag, acknowledging the city's participation and establish a payment plan with Sandbag which lessens the impact on the budget.
Move for approval.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Caldwell, may I get a vote? Thank you.
Item number 9, presentation of the report from City Council members. So I'll start on my left here with Councilwoman McTackman.
I have nothing this evening.
All right, I'm going to bring this up this evening because there's already 2 council members evidently associated with the meeting with our county supervisors. So my concern is that we're moving a bit slowly on the resolution of what has been defined as the Yucca Loma Nisqually corridor. There is some significant problems still confronting this city. And as one member who will not be sitting in the meeting with the supervisor, I wanted to put my feelings out on the table and so that there's no violation of the Brown Act. You can't have more than 3 people involved directly into any of these meetings. The Yucca Loma Nisqually interchange has some rather significant holes in them. Not the least of which is we have not defined yet a route. There have been some proposed routes that we considered a couple of weeks ago, and there's a preference and a couple of other preferences, but I wanted to make it clear that that route has to be nailed down, I think, by this council, or at least a policy of some sort, as we get to as we approach Apple Valley's meeting March 1st. The reason that we need to get these issues out on the table now and discuss them in the open now is that LAFCO is coming up in April. And if we haven't got these issues resolved, it bumps into some of our annexation issues, especially the donut hole issue right next to the railroad tracks over there that we're commonly referred to as the Code Road annexation. So the route has to be one of those considerations. I think the council more or less thought that the straight shot off of Ridgecrest to Nisqually was a good choice. It may be a good choice, and it may be a doable choice, and it might not. We still don't know that. So that has to be out there considered. The second one is that we need to protect that route against inverse condemnation. I think that inverse condemnation is a serious financial burden that somebody's going to have to carry. If the route is coming through the county's property over there in the Code Road area, that would be one formula. If the county is coming strictly down through city real estate and business, that would be a different level of commitment to that. So the inverse condemnation is another area that has to be cleared up, and I'm suggesting that as we approach LAFCO with our application in April, that if that is not resolved, certainly a letter or commitment from the county as to their responsibilities in that area ought to be there. What if we preserve a route and then we begin to get legal attacks? So that issue has to be considered. The third issue is that what part of the project belongs to Apple Valley, what part belongs to the county, and what part belongs to the city of Victorville. If you looked at the route as it's outlined, the bridge over the river, half of that bridge is in the city and half of Apple Valley and half of it's in the county. Apple Valley has agreed to fund the entire bridge through agreements with the county. That's great. So if the bridge belongs to Apple Valley, I would assume that the rest of the route, after you get across the river, looping around Spring Valley Lake to Ridgecrest, and someplace on Ridgecrest, undetermined at this point, you are going to begin the route to Hesperia Road. That's all county. And depending on where you draw the line with respect to coming off of Ridgecrest, could all be entirely into the county. And right now, the only commitment we've got from the county is $500,000 on Nisqually Bridge. So that's another serious point that has to be cleared up and discussed coming into the March 1st meeting. And finally, depending on which one of those routes there that we would choose, the one thing that I want to make abundantly clear is that for one member of this council, I will never support the connection at Green Tree, this bridge and route connecting into Green Tree Boulevard. There is no way that traffic can be accommodated, or should the citizens of Victorville be required to take that kind of traffic flow into that intersection. A more appropriate point is to negotiate that traffic to go to Nisqually the way we've designed it. I'd remind you of a couple of dollar and cent issues. When we get done with our fixing up of Nisqually plus the bridge itself, we'll have close to $110 million of the City of Victorville invested in the Nisqually interchange in the route to Hesperia Road. A few more million added on to the Hesperia Road one. So again, there is a large commitment that needs to be considered by the county before we pull the trigger on the annexation issues, in my opinion. All of these things, and by the way, the bridge over the railroad track, something that we would never build on our own. It's not a needed item for us, but it certainly facilitates the corridor. That's probably a $10 million item or more, just to get over the railroad tracks into the whichever region we are, into the Foxborough area there. So all of those are out there. I needed to say them, put them on the public record at this time, since I won't be involved in any of the other meetings. And then again, when we have our meeting March 1st, it indicates that Victorville City Council and Apple Valley City Council will meet. I'm not sure why the county has not been included in that, in an official capacity, not as a staff member. So that would be a third issue that would be out there with respect to the meeting. So I've made my statements clear, and now I'll leave it at that.
Well, you bring up some good points, and we should have the county involved in that discussion. I have nothing to report. Just a request to adjourn all of the agendas for the City Council meeting to February the 9th at 5 p.m. here at the Council Chambers, and that'll be to discuss our mid-year budget review workshop. So, any other comments, or Fox, do you have anything else to add to? Okay, then the meeting is adjourned.